this is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Waters.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Fishies in a row. They're here to make a point and to do Eddie proud. They fan out in the background as they come down to turn 1 for the first time. It all looks pretty good, 2 by 2. We'll stop the camera here. Oh, Eddie would be proud, mate. That was awesome run around turn 1. But, oi! Contact with the fishies.
He's made it through. It doesn't look like Angus has made it, but Thomas Freeman's made it through, and Angus is going to suffer the crowd coming through there to be able to turn his car around.
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
ride with Shannon.
Call 134646 for a quote.
And they are off. It was a good start from Dylan de Bono. I think Phil Vella got a great start there in the background as well. You can see already cars going 5, 6 wide as they're trying to find any semblance of space. They come into T1. So far we've got 2, 3 wide as they snake down. It's Michael Culture that's got around Dylan de Bono. A couple of cars going wide there. Was that a bit of contact in the back? Scott Pocock caught up in that, I think, there, buddy. But it's Michael Cullaghar's got past, so Dylan.
Light is coming out and we're about to get going, and we have a green light and a very slow start for the 86s, but they are moving out there on the grid. It would be very interesting to see exactly which driver can capitalise on this first lap. Just go through the grid. Look like Jamie Christensen had a really awesome start to get ahead of Dylan de Bono, and Doug Gowage also jumped his teammate as well, so unfortunately Dylan stalled the car a little bit more than what he preferred. But
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Still great classes of car, and if you are able to, if you're coming up the ranks on iRacing through the licenses, it's a fantastic sort of laneway into prototype driving, going from that GT3 up through the prototype classes. As the safety car pulls in, we get ready to go green as we come up towards the line. Edwards, Hasler, who's going to get the jump down to turn 1, or will any of the fishies, any of the piranhas in behind them, assault them down towards
green and they're off.
First lap? Let's go here.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's.
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. Dodds just absolutely think about it. It's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome back to SRWtv. Tonight we jump back into the world of the open wheelers for round 9 in our championship round of season 2 of the 2024 Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals. It is the final round tonight. Circuit de Barcelona or Catalunya is the arena, and it's going to be an epic night as we watch the championship dominoes fall for season 2. It's Cowie, your average sim racer here. I'm together with Hamish Munro once again, who's looking after the cameras and on the mic, giving us his insights. Buddy, we've been waiting for this one, the championship battles. They're all still alive, so we'll have to see how the guys go tonight with an epic race here at Catalunya.
Mate, it's going to be absolutely epic. All 3 championships are on the line here tonight for the pros, the pro-ams, and the amateurs as well. We get to see the head-to-head between Dylan De Bono and David Gallo. Of course, Callan Hodgkinson and Sam Katakazinos, and then also Callum Rosanita and Timothy Schmalenberg. So all those battles are on the line here tonight, just like it was for Supercars last night. Absolutely epic affair on course here tonight at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's not just an F3 shadow. It's not just an F3 round though. It's also an F1 shadow round though, Carrie. So we also have points to take into consideration for that one. We have a triple header coming up actually. Next week we have Red Bull Ring. The week after we have Silverstone. But we focus tonight on the Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals Championship. It's the final round of Season 2 of 2024. Could not be a better place to do it. It's a track in infamy in terms of historic moments in motorsport. Who can forget 2015 between Rosberg and Hamilton having the crash on the start lap, and then Verstappen goes on to win his very first race in Formula 1. Absolutely massive moment. But I guess tonight we look at it. De Bono, he's had the most wins this season out of anyone. He's challenged by last season's defending champion David Gallo, who has not yet won a race this season. For Gallo to win this championship, he needs to beat Dylan De Bono by 3 positions or 4 if De Bono gets the fastest lap. But we both think that Daniel Byrne may have a part to play in that one and attempting to take the fastest lap off De Bono. So, you know, that championship, we're going to be heavily focused on that one. Obviously, it's the top end of town. Gallo trying to defend his title, De Bono trying to win his first. And who could really, you know, get the part to play and the perfect opportunity to have that happen to them here tonight. Do we think, Cowie, like in my mind, Catalunya, it's a circuit that's almost like Silverstone in terms of how many safety cars you can get. You're either going to get some or you're going to get none. It's always a 50-50 for me. Really depends on the field and how they're driving around. Do we think we're going to get some tonight, and if it may have a part to play in this championship?
Oh, look, we've seen carnage pretty much every round. Looks like the weather gods have played it fair on our championship contenders, so they don't have to worry about that. I'm thinking it's a 60-minute race. We're going to get 2 safety cars. I know I'm being a bit conservative, but I think you're going to see some guys, you know, be extra careful tonight, but others have got nothing to lose.
Well, we'll have to wait and see who is going to get the benefit of the doubt here tonight for these drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us know. Put your predictions into the chat here tonight. Who you think is taking out all the respective championships, Dylan De Bono or David Gallo? Dave Roberts is still within a shout, but it's pretty, it's looking like De Bono and Gallo are at like $1.50. Roberts is probably at about $3 or $4 right now and taking out this championship if you were to look at it in betting stats. Then for the Pro-Ams between Katakazinos and Hodgkinson. And then for the AMs, the Schmalenberg versus Rosanita. Those are our 3 championship battles on offer here tonight. They are the 6 main contenders for their respective championships as well. We'll see if anything has a part to play here tonight, Cowie, and who is really going to get the benefits. So, but we're about to finish out practice. Qualifying, I think, could be imperative here tonight, especially with impeding. We know impeding's been a big thing over the last couple of weeks. And if someone gets an impeding penalty here tonight, that could have a big part to play in this championship run.
Well, look, we saw what happened to Gallo there. It was a great drive to come back over the night and minimise that point loss, and that's kept him in the championship hunt. So, look, things like that can have big ramifications, but at the moment it's a 60-minute race tonight, so it's all about just getting clean, getting into your rhythm. Look, there's going to be safety cars, I think, even though the weather's clear. We're seeing these guys now at the point where they're really starting to push these cars to find the speed. And when you're pushing it to the limit, there's bound to be a little mistake. And although it's not the concrete jungle of Detroit last night, buddy, it can still have its own trouble out here. And the contenders, they want nothing of that.
Well, qualifying's about to get underway, of course. David Gallo's already out on track in behind his teammate Daniel Byrne. Dylan De Bono is also out there as well, just trying to get himself a nice little gap here as he's about to be passed by his former teammate Tyler Sheaf. There was a little bit of a stir-up when that was released by Sheafy that actually had happened. So technically Sheafy is under a new team for next season. Whether he's technically under Velocity Simlabs here tonight, I'm not 100% sure, but going forward they will be former teammates. So I don't know if Sheafy's actually going to try and give De Bono a hand or not. But we'll see how that championship battle plays out here tonight. Matty Feely in the chat giving his love to Cal Hodgkinson from Blackout OPR as well. Doug Gowans, unfortunately on a round ban this week, cannot help and be the wingman that De Bono needs, giving his love to Velocity Simlabs.
I was about to say that. Look, Doug's not here tonight. The naughty stick has come down. Now, that is probably going to mean that Dylan's going to be up against both Byrne and Gallen, because I think those two will definitely try to work together if they can. So it will come down to see if Matty Gerard, he's had some good pace, the past few weeks, same as Sam Catacasinas. Sam's got his own championship battle to fight as well, but if he can get somewhere near the pointy end, he might be able to provide the support that De Bono needs tonight.
David Gallo starts out his first qualifying run here tonight in behind his teammate, getting a good toe off him at the moment as they come down the main straight. We'll sit with him here as he runs round for the first time. We'll see if this will do him dividends here tonight. I guess the question there is, because we often see De Bono and Gowans work together to help get De Bono up to the front end of field by getting that toe in, since they are so close on pace. Do we see anyone in Velocity Simlabs who's going to be able to match Gowans' pace tonight who could actually help De Bono here in qualifying?
Well, look, as I said, I think we've seen a breakout season from Sam. He's had pro-level pace at some of the tracks this season, just with the extra work, and I know he's credited Doug and Dylan quite a bit there, and the other boys were Velocity Simlabs. So, we'll have to keep an eye on the quality here, see if Sam can get himself up. But as we said, he's got his own championship battle at the moment. He needs to find, 4 spots, maybe 5 spots on Callum Hodgkinson to take that Pro-Am title. So, I think the further up front he is, the better it is for him too.
Well, we'll have to see what the game plan is for some drivers. Daniel Byrne just had a big blink right in front of his teammate. Hopefully that is not a sign of things to come.
They'd already pulled out of that lap and were letting another car through, so maybe the tyre's not quite up to it just yet.
Well, first lap's coming in.
Good to see we're not using the little, I was going to say, good to see we're not using the little chicane there at the end either. So
I'm very glad of that.
Historic layout.
Yeah.
Well, Formula One themselves have gone back to that layout now. The drivers much prefer it.
Well, technically, the other one is now the historic. This is the modern version of the circuit, technically.
Very true. But what it does do is it just adds that extra bit of load on the tyres. Starts to put a bit of question marks. Again, it's one of those really, really fast corners that if you get it right, the car's just going to stick to the road and give you even more grip. And that's where we see, bolt time at the moment. De Bono's got 0.4 on the field. But as we said, neither of the Carlin's Motorsports boys with a time on the board just yet.
Well, we'll see how they go here. De Bono has gone pole position with a 133.5 here in qualifying, getting himself set up perfectly to try and hoist that trophy here tonight. He is technically the champion-elect as he is leading the championship into this round, but it's whether he can put all the pieces together and have a complete race. He had an absolute blunder last week out at Laguna Seca, which has now kept Gallo still in this championship battle once again. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out here, Cowie. I mean, De Bono, he missed Montreal due to the origin. And then last week he ended up in the wall and dropping positions in that second race out at Laguna Seca. So we'll have to wait and see how this is going to play out. It could go anywhere tonight.
Yeah, he kept it nice and nail-biting for us. I think at the moment, Schmalenberg with that time on the top of the leaderboard at the moment, think about him too. He's 20 points back from Rosanita. So, that's 5 positions. And, at the moment, he's got the best time on the board.
Yeah, he's looking good at the moment. And he's currently gapping Tessierero by 10 positions on the road just about. So that'll be a good chunk of points if they stayed where they were. Of course, had a massive race last time. He got on the overall podium at Laguna Seca, so it was a big chunk of points for him in that race. I'll have to see if he can put all the pieces together here tonight, figure out the puzzle of how to win this amateur championship to become a Pro-Am leading into next season. But Callum Rosanita, he is looking uber pacey right now. He's already on a purple sector in the first. Times are starting to come down quick and fast, Cowie, as we get up towards the halfway point of qualifying. But remembering, drivers have got all 15 minutes here tonight and then some to get their laps in, as it is a normal round, so they will not get off as soon as they'll not get cut off, I should say, as soon as it hits 15 minutes.
Well, look, I think it's really interesting when you're seeing the Pro-Am and the Am drivers, mixing it in the middle of the pros here. You can really see that these guys have put in some practice this past week. They're in the championship hunt, so they've really sort of put a bit of focus on it. And, when you see your AMs putting times inside that top 10, they've found it's a good pace. So, it'd be interesting to see tonight if they can hold it together. Because, being a normal round, a 60-minute round, anything can happen. And you've got to sort of stay adaptable, but more importantly, stay out of trouble and be somewhere near the pointy end at the end of the race.
Well, as it currently stands, Dylan De Bono is on pole position as we hit the halfway point of qualifying, ahead of Marcus Knitska, Dave Roberts and David Gallo in P4 at the moment. Schmalenberg's in P5, Ben Brook, Daniel Byrne. Tessierero, Gerard and Sinkovic currently make up the top 10. Then it's Dawson, Hodgson just knocked Sinkovic out of the 10. Then it's Dawson, Katakazinis, Rosanita, Schmalenberg, Johnston, Wakefield, Sheaf and Noble. If they were to finish how they currently stand, Hodgkinson would be beating Katakazinos for that championship, Cowie.
It's all early days yet for the championship, even though we are in the final round. We've still got about half of this qualifying session left. It is a 60-minute race tonight, so quali will not get cut off at the 15-minute point. If you start a bit late, you'll get a chance to finish it. For the viewers out there, as far as the race goes, it's 4 points difference per position, and that all-important 5 points for the fastest lap that may well come into play with the pros involved. And as we were speculating before, and briefly mentioned by Hamish, if Dylan's got the fastest lap, and David Gallo is, inside but not enough with that fastest lap in account, don't be surprised to see Daniel Byrne come in, put some fresh rubber on and really go for that fastest lap and take it off him, because that may well be the team play that helps Gallo win the championship. But Gallo needs 3 positions on De Bono, so De Bono, he's doing everything he needs to do at the moment. Put it on P1, stay out in front, make them all chase you, and the championship is his.
Well, he's absolutely Big Johnson to the whole field just then. He set the first 31 of qualifying a 31.9, 0.77 of a second faster than current P2 Daniel Byrne at the moment is De Bono here at the front of the field. He's looking good. He's looking good to win this championship. And, he's putting himself in the prime position at the moment, Cowie. He's looking like the strongest man on track at the moment.
The thing with Dylan, can he dial it back a little bit and drive at 95%? Because one thing we do know about Dylan, he drives on the edge, and that's why he's so fast. Because, that's one of the things you try to train yourself as an average sim racer in the V8 supercar is to, really throw it around, try to get that car in. But, Dylan does it in everything he drives. Will that be his undoing tonight, or can he just rein it in enough and do just what he needs to win the championship?
Well, we saw it bite him a little bit last week at Laguna. We'll see if he's learnt from that. As Gallo has now gone P2 in qualifying with a 32.6. So all of a sudden, both championship contenders are starting on the front row of the grid in a 1v1 with Byrne in behind them in P3. As Gallo now allows Byrne to go through, we'll look to try and get the toe off him here and maybe going for a pole position lap if he can sync this one together in behind Byrne.
Well, I think as far as Gallo goes, he doesn't mind if his teammate, gets ahead of him, I suppose, in this race. If anything, he'll be looking for, one of them to be taking the fight to De Bono nice and early in this race. So, that might be a play if Byrne can force De Bono to use up his tyres early, then that gives Gallo a chance to run longer and maybe go for that overcut. We've seen the undercut generally the play here at Catalunya. It's not an extremely long pit lane, but again, just that fresh rubber. Once you get it bed down, it can be quite effective. Is it as effective as a low fuel load in this car? I'm not sure. The other thing we've got to have a look at too, Hamish, is that by the looks of the fuel limits, these guys will be 5 to 10 minutes short of one stopping it. So if there is only a single safety car, you may see a few people roll the dice, but it may not be enough.
Well, if we think about the history of this track, Cowie, I think as Byrne has now gone P2 on the road, Gallo could not have a better wingman with him here tonight. He's got the only other winner he's not the only winner at this circuit we've ever had in Daniel Byrne. For this layout. The Grand Prix layout, though, we've had one winner in 2 races. That was Matty Jones. So technically at this circuit, we've only ever had 2 winners, but at this layout, it's only ever been Daniel Byrne. Fastest lap was a 34.6. We've already smashed that here tonight with a 31 from De Bono.
A different car, of course. And this is the first season of us using the super light. But, I mean, it has been a great season. As I said to the boys in the Discord chat earlier in the week, that I think the car has given the midfield a bit more confidence, right? And what that has done is it's brought the racing closer together. I mean, if we look at the timing for this qualifying session, and again, it's orange all the way down. The cars are separated by tenths or less than tenths all the way down. We go down to 15th before we find a gap of a second from the front. So that mid pack is so tight, and it has been every week, and it's just a testament to the drivers and how well they've adapted to the new machinery.
Isn't it quite amazing, Cowie, that a year on after the first season of class splits here in the Formula 3 Nationals, both last races of the season for Season 2, 2023 and 2024, all of the class championships have come down to the final race. Last year we only had 2 classes. Both championships came down to the final race. This year, all 3 classes come down to the final race. It's absolutely epic how close these championships have been and how highly contested they've been as well.
Well, I think that, the iRacing gods have played a bit of a part this week. We've had Origin play its part, even though the Blues lost that match. It has had an effect on the championship here with De Bono sitting it out to watch the match. Then, then we've had the corkscrew. I don't know if you could say it played its magic. I suppose it certainly played into its notoriety with several incidents last week at the corkscrews. So, we've had these incidents just happen in that previous round or in previous seasons. I know we had a switch between who was it? I'm trying to think of the 2 drivers. It was Phil Vella and Catalunya, where the second last round there was a switch of 60 points that just completely flipped things on its head. And last week we said the same thing. We expected De Bono to run away with it with that early lead in the race, and then things just came a cropper really, really quick, and and suddenly we're still talking about the championship. That's why it makes it such entertaining viewing here on a Wednesday night.
Well, if you think about it, last night, if John Gallen's teammate Blake Fitzpatrick had not had an incident at turn 3, which then gave Gallen P5 on the road, Gallen may not have actually won the championship.
Oh, I'm sure those boys probably would have got out of the way if they needed to.
I'm sure, but at that point he wasn't winning until he had a moment, and then Pavlovic hit him as well. But
look, I thought he played a pretty cool strategy. I don't know if they were a lap short or not. The second safety car certainly meant he could stay out and get home. But he made the play, and I thought it was a good move. Those three guys, unfortunately, a couple of them getting involved. It was good to see Fitzy still made it around and was able to hang on to that AM championship. But I suppose he showed some great pace last night. Qualified up in second or third, I think it was, and was racing up there most of the race. So too fast for me in that first team.
Well, qualifying has now ticked over to the end, as you were about to mention Brad's comment there, Cowie, about giving you your congratulations on a great race. But De Bono currently sits provisional pole. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to challenge him as well.
And that lap's over there with a big off track there, so what a good 1X on that, and it's our last qualifier. But job number 1 done for Dylan De Bono. He has put it on pole. Daniel Byrne and David Gallo, well, championship contender. He's nice and close. This is going to be juicy, buddy.
Oh, you could not ask for a better meal to be put on the table to sink your teeth into tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The championship battles are uber close between all three classes. It is all going to be answered for us here tonight in our final round of Season 2, but also for this F1 Shadow round as well. Big points on offer. That could then also have later implications down the line as we get closer to the end of that championship. But De Bono and Gallen, I'm going to put you on the spot, Cowie. Who's winning it tonight?
Oh, look, I think Dylan's going to have too much pace. I think Daniel and David are going to keep it nice and entertaining. But for me, it all comes down to if Dylan can just rein himself in a little bit and not push super hard when he's 3 seconds in front. So we'll see if he can do it. He is a racer and just... it's pedal to the metal, but I don't think the Carlins boys are going to have enough pace tonight.
All right, I'm going to go the opposite way. I think David Gallo is winning this championship without winning a race. I'm doubling down on my prediction. I think David Gallo is going to go back-to-back in a season that he has not won a race in. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I just have a feeling that it's going to be Gallo's night. If it's De Bono's night, then he's definitely earned it as well. Both boys have earned their opportunities. They've earned their flowers, and they've earned their position in the championship, and that's why they're in this battle in the final race. But either way, I'm going to be happy because we've had an epic season so far. We're on for an epic conclusion here tonight out at Catalunya, and we'll get that started right now with our starting grid for the final round of the season. Dylan De Bono will line up on the front row of the grid alongside Carlins Motorsports' Daniel Byrne. Championship contender David Gallo then starts P3 on the road alongside P3 in the championship. Dave Roberts on the second row. Marcus Kanitska, Matthew Gerard then line up on the third row of the grid ahead of Alan Dawson and Sam Katakazinos here, who importantly is 5 positions ahead of his championship rival. Ben Brook, Timothy Schmalenberg then make up the top 10 ahead of Mitch Noble and Callan Hodgkinson, the other Pro-Am contender here tonight. So that's going to be juicy to see if Sam can pull away from Callan or if he can pull him in and close that gap a little bit there. We then move down to Matt Tessiero and Dean Singovich, who are starting ahead of Nick Schmalenberg and Nathan Verney. Callum Rossanita and Shane Ratcliffe to make up the 9th row of the grid ahead of Greg Johnson and Tyler Sheaf to make up the top 20. Kevin Wakefield and Sean Bonici then start in behind ahead of our race controllers Adam Hughes, Greg Barber, and our safety car driver Greg Leake. A big thank you to all of them for being in here with us tonight. We've had some big comments in the chat. Adam Hughes saying Upper Sinker only here for Steven Sinker. He's not even racing, Adam. He's not even in the com box either.
Well, I think the other interesting one there is Timothy Schmalenberg. What's that, 4 spots on Matt Tessiero? He needs 5. So, look, all of our championship contenders, well, they are all in play as we wait for this race to start. It's been an epic series for the Shannon's Formula. threes here. Brand new car this season. We've had the weather gods play. We've had incidents. We've had mistakes. It's all down to how they do tonight, buddy. And I keep saying buddy because I'm excited, mate. It's going to be a great race.
We're going to get our buddy counter back up again, Cowie. Don't worry. We've lost. We have to make up for the buddy count that we haven't done all season.
I've reined it in this season, but maybe it might just let it back out of that jar that we've locked it up in.
That's all good. That's all good, mate. Steve Tonkin in there as well. Let's go Schmalenbergs. Matty Feely giving his love for Blackout OPR as well. Great to have you all here tonight. Going to be a massive final round to come. It's one race to rule them all here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an hour-long race around Catalunya. Greg Barber saying he's here for SR. I was at the 6 Hours of the Glen for SR, ironically, but we'll have to wait and see how we all go here tonight, as everyone is now on the starting grid, and we'll wait for the lights to go up. We are gridding up. Lights are going to get ready to go. De Bono's on pole ahead of Byrne. It's a 1v1 for the championship at Catalunya. Who's going to get the jump early on here? It was a horrible start for Gerard in the background as Gallo and Byrne get off the line well in behind De Bono. So did Roberts as well as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. A little bit of a smaller grid than we're used to, Cowie, but nice and condensed. I mean, we should have some great battles on hand.
You also mentioned Robert and Konitska there, the two teammates as well. They'll be looking to see if they can put a spanner in this championship fight. And already, I think it was that Konitska that just ran a little bit wide there, but it has recovered. So far, so good for De Bono. Well, again, job number 2 done. He's got clear at the start. And, no one's behind, no one's in front of him.
That's right. This is all he had to do off the start, was just try and get off the line a bit better than the other competitors. Mitch Noble's gone round at the long left-hander. He now finds himself at the back of the grid and trying to get his car spun back around again. That now drops him all the way down to the back of the grid as De Bono still leads the way. He has already built a gap of 1.1 seconds over David Gallo. It's almost like he's trying to run away from Gallo at this point, not willing to have the fight with him as Byrne and Gallo look to make their way up the order, with Roberts in behind them at this stage.
Well, Mitch Noble, already he needs a safety car to get onto the back of this here, and I don't believe I heard your prediction there for the safety cars for tonight.
I think we're gonna have one, Cowie.
The one,
yeah.
Okay. I think we're gonna have drama right at the end of this race, and I mean, early on there is a bit of open space here, but there is walls, and I think we've seen before that the new damage model with some of these cars, it doesn't take a lot to make them undrivable. Yeah,
but these cars have had NDM ever since they got released. So, but they are like paper mache, to be fair, just like the old F3. But De Bono's already gapping early.
We've seen a few of them get back where we didn't think they would.
Yeah.
But then we've seen, other, moments, again, with the mid-pack finding a bit more confidence with a car that's got a bit more aero grip. You can push the load a little bit more through the corners. So we're seeing these guys starting to find those limits. And, when the racing is so close and you're really pushing hard, it's easy to make a little mistake and get a little tank slapper, and that can end your night really early. But as far as the championship goes, it's all still a play. No big movers so far. The points system, Schmalenberg, Tessieriero's picked up a spot. He's right in behind Schmalenberg now, so he's done an early job to cut that gap down. He needs to keep the gap less than 5 spots. That's his job for tonight. As far as our Pro-Am field, it is Katakazinas, and he's got, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4,
He's
5,
got exactly 5 over Hodgkinson as Tessieriero's got off the track. Schmalenberg's put it in the wall. Is this championship done and dusted for Timothy Schmalenberg, who's now lost his front wing coming onto the main straight?
Was that contact between the two of them there?
I'm about to double check that.
I'm hoping we're not having a Prost Center moment here.
So he'd already had the spin.
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah.
So let me
That's
try.
where he's lost them.
Let me try and go back a little bit further. We'll try this one here. So how's this? Oh, he
he's
lost it on his
rotated the
own.
rear all by himself. Yep, all on his own.
Yeah.
But that's what I was talking about. I don't know if I could call that a commentator's curse, but I was talking about the fact that you're getting these guys that, just finding the limit a lot more and pushing the car a bit more, and that was just a little bit too much gas on exit. The car's still the rear of the car's still rotating around, and when your tyres have only Bernie's had a little moment there himself. That bright neon machine will have to fight its way back through. But yeah, look, when you're pushing hard, that tiny little moment is all it takes sometimes. De Bono, well, is he going to continue to push super hard? Already the Carlins boys looks like they've closed the gap a little bit though.
Yeah, it's now back down below a second is the gap between P1 and P2 of David Gallo. So he's now been released by his teammate Daniel Byrne. Currently we've only had one victim of the walls here tonight. That was Timothy Schmalenberg, who ended up putting it into the wall on the main straight, as Byrne is still blinking in and out in behind Gallo at the moment. As it currently stands, Dylan De Bono would be winning the championship for the pro field and overall here in the Formula 3 Nationals, brought to you by Shannon's Insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, Gallo needs to beat him by 4 positions, if De Bono gets the fastest lap here tonight.
It's a little early to be calling it, buddy. We're only 5 minutes into this motor race.
I'm saying currently. If it were to end right now, he would be winning it, is what I'm saying.
Okay, yes. Well, we have another 55 minutes left and see if that is how it's going to play out.
We've already seen Timothy Schmalenberg. That may be the end of his championship run tonight, because now he needs one of those safety cars to... I don't know if he went a lap down.
Well, he's just come in the lane. He's just entered his pit box now as De Bono's coming up towards the final sector. So he should actually get out of the pits before De Bono gets on the back of him. But it's if De Bono catches him and then passes him on track, that's going to be the struggle.
Yeah, look, I mean, already, it's going to put him into the clutches of going a lap down, even if he gets out of here before them. I suppose it makes for a long night, but... it's early on. I suppose if you're going to have a mistake in a race like this, an hour-long race, you have it early. We do get one fast repair for the drivers out there, so that will fix their car back to brand new. So, he will get that reset, but needs the safety car to bunch it all back up and give him a chance to take the fight back to Tessuero.
Well, what I've noticed off the back of that incident with Schmalenberg and then Tessuero having to go around is Hodgkinson is now within 5 positions of Katakizinos and is within striking distance of winning that championship as well. He just needs to be able to keep this gap now. He has got Gerard who is Katakizinos' teammate ahead of him, but there is Ben Brook up the road as well. So this is still in play for Hodgkinson. It's still in play for Katakizinos, but they both need to get a wriggle on if they want to be able to win this title for the Pro-Ams at the moment.
Yeah, look, early on they're both positioning themselves sort of tactically, I suppose. Inevitably it's your pace that decides that sometimes, but we've seen that, the championship contenders, they look like they've been the ones that have put the practice in this week. So they're the ones showing the pace. And who do we have around there? That's Mr. Spinovich.
Yep.
Has he done this all on
Aladeen,
his own?
it appears so. He looks like he hopped the sausage curb. Yep, that's not a Saturday bunning snag that you'd want to have happen on a Wednesday, Cowie, for sure. Looks like he dropped the onions in the middle of the paint aisle.
Well, it'd be interesting. I wonder if those curbs will still be there this weekend for the real Formula 1 guys, because there has been a lot of talk about the sausage curbs launching those cars. But, yeah, definitely, supercar, you can eat them alive. Superlight, F3, any of these open wheelers, they don't tend to like them very much at all.
Well, one person I just wanted to give a quick little shout out to on how much he's improved this season, not only in F3s, also in supercars, is Alan Dawson of Wright Sim Racing. Alan has been on an absolute rise and an absolute tear so far. This guy, I think if he can find some more pace, he's got the consistency. he could be a real challenger for one of these championships at some point in the future. So keep your eyes and watch the space of Alan Dawson, because he has really risen up the ranks, and I'm quite impressed with him, as Dean Sinkovich has had an incident in the background. He is still going, but I believe it is another spin for him at the Schumacher S's here at Catalunya.
I reckon when he backed into the wall there, he's damaged the car, and that sort of made it a bit unstable.
It's actually at turn 1, sorry. He's brought in a little bit too much pace, got it underweighted, and then round she went. So, unfortunate for Dean there. Now trundles around the back.
They're the things that you need to be doing to be fast in this car. So, Dean maybe just not catching it early enough. But that's the difference between the Pro and the AM speed, is those guys are flinging the car through corners like that. That's where the performance of this thing is. But the problem is when you're a little bit tentative about it, or you get on the gas a bit early or a bit hard, that little imbalance, that's all it takes to change it from being a great corner into a very, very bad one.
Back on board now with Dylan De Bono. Both him and Gallo have now broken away from the pack a little bit of Daniel Byrne back in P3 at the moment. Their gap's now out to about 2 seconds off the back of Gallo to his teammate in Daniel Byrne. But De Bono's not been able to shake Gallo just yet. Their gap remains at around about 8 to 9 tenths of a second. So they're hanging out together at the front of the field. Maybe a little bit of fuel saving happening between them as well. But they're looking forward to the end of race for this battle that could occur for this championship. And it appears that De Bono not pushing too hard too early just yet.
And look, I think perhaps there's a bit of fuel saving involved. I haven't really talked to the drivers of how easy or how difficult it is to save in this car. I know we've said a couple of them is it's not easy, but not all of those nuances there, how much is on the table, how much you can actually save. The thing about tonight's race is it looks like it'll be a two-stopper unless we have about 10 minutes taken out of the race. So, you could maybe save a couple of minutes worth of fuel in these cars, but having to save 10 minutes of fuel, I'd say we're going to be looking at a splash and dash if it stays green. But a safety car, that's just going to completely change things. So I think at the moment we're just seeing the field stabilising themselves, finding their rhythm, their pace, and it's a little bit of a wait and see what happens, because I don't think anyone's really pushing hard at the moment, but I don't think they're slackening off either.
We have got Hutto, resident F3 admin, in the chat here to check out how his series on SRW is going to go for championship battles wise. As it currently stands, Hutto, to keep you up to date if you haven't been here the whole time, at the moment, if it were to finish right now, checker flag were to drop, Dylan De Bono would win the Pro Championship, Hodgkinson would win the Pro-Am Championship, and Tessuera would win the Amateur Championship here tonight. Hutto saying tipping De Bono, Hodgkinson and Rosanida. Interesting. To win those championships. Is Rosanida within a shout for the points? Let me double check.
Well, he's about 40 points back, so he probably needs Tessuera to have a similar moment.
Oh, actually, no, Rosanida is actually leading the way.
Is he?
Oh, yeah, he is. It's Smalenberg needs to beat Rosanida, not Tessuera. Complete brain fart on my behalf there. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Rosanita's at this point after Schmalenberg's hit the wall so early. So,
You're right. It was Rosanita that's leading by 20 points.
Yeah,
we got that all wrong.
Yeah, we got him swapped around.
Well, we've done him a bit of a hard deal here, because at the moment, he's been flying under the radar. He's currently sitting in behind Tessuera, but all about keeping his race clean tonight with his championship rival putting it into the wall early on.
You know what it is? It's the camouflage livery on that car. We couldn't see him out there. We couldn't see him in the lead of this championship. That was the problem, Gowie.
I think it's maybe an appropriate coincidence.
Yep.
He's running a camo livery, and we absolutely forgot about him in the championship.
I'm gonna live, breathe, and just drive home that point that was exactly what it was. We didn't just forget about him. But we are just about we're nearly at a quarter of the way through, Cowie. We're nearly at 15 minutes into this race, and Dylan De Bono leads the way to David Gallo, Daniel Bird, Marcus Knitska, Dave Roberts makes up the top 5. Then it's Katakazinas, Dawson, Brook, Gerard Hodgkinson who makes up the 10. There are no amateurs in the top 10 at the moment, Cowie, only pros and pro-ams.
Yeah, look, I think Timothy was the one running up inside that top 10 until he had his moment. But look, I was actually noticed was it the Shane Ratty Ratcliffe out there. Good to see him out on track here tonight. We've missed him the past few weeks.
Oh, he's been out there. He's been out there. He's been another driver that's been lurking and just kind of sitting under the radar. He's been out there though. He's had a couple of incidents.
The V8s though, because he was a part of the V8s there for a while as well. Raced against him. I know Sheepy was struggling with pace tonight, but sitting P14 at the moment, so not having too bad a run. Timothy Schmalenberg, that's the one. He's 22nd now and is a lap down by the looks of it. Oh no, he's got De Bono about 16 seconds behind him.
He's technically
still on the lead lap.
Yeah, technically where De Bono is on track compared to him, he's still on the same lap, but we're still on the lead lap. But he is on the previous lap still, as he hasn't crossed the line yet. But yeah,
he's giving up about a second a lap. But if it stays green, these boys will have to go in the next sort of 5 or 6 laps, I would think. So that might be a grace for him, but he is definitely counting on a safety car to give him a chance to get back into the hunt. But at the moment, Catalunya, there's enough runoff there that no one's fallen afoul of a completely broken F3. We've had a couple of spins, but so far, the race has sort of settled into its rhythm now.
Yeah, it has, and I think if anyone's going to be hoping for a safety car, it's going to be David Gallo, and he's going to be hoping that Dylan De Bono causes it, because it's not looking good for him to win this championship right now. He needs both him and the 2 drivers in behind him in Daniel Byrne and Marcus Knitska to get past De Bono to win this title at the moment. But it's not looking likely for Gallo right now, but still a long way to go. We've still got 44 minutes. Anything can happen in that time. I mean, it's so many things happened in the last 15 minutes of last night's race that changed the game. It could happen once again here tonight at Catalunya.
Yeah, look, he's trying to put some pressure on De Bono. I mean, as I said before, Dylan is a great racer, but the one thing that I've noticed for Dylan that, a little bit like Phil Vella used to do. Phil Vella had a habit of setting the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, when he was already 10 seconds in front. So, and Dylan very much has that same mentality of really pushing himself to, drive the perfect lap. And, that can sometimes be to his detriment, where a little mistake, because he's driving so much on the edge, if you had dialed it back a few percent when you've got a 5-second lead, that probably would have taken it out. Now, again, racers always talk about if you do that, then sometimes they can get you out of your zone as well. So it's a fine line sometimes, but I think, Dylan is going to be super concentrating tonight, super hard and focused, because he knows that, at the moment, the championship's his to lose.
Ooh, Matt Gerard's had a bit of an off track, and he's missing his rear wing off the back of that car as well. What has happened to him here? He's pretty close to the pit entry, so he should be able to make it back. Oh, he hooked that curb and held brakes really well, and then, just went straight into the wall.
That's crabbing after that too, so
Yep.
that has broken the whole suspension. Didn't look like a hard hit, but as you said, fairly close to the end of the lap, so he should be able to get this home and avoid a safety car to hurt his teammate.
Well, that's right. He definitely would not want to bring one out right now, as that would hinder Dylan De Bono a little bit here in this race. Might push the envelope in terms of strategy plays of who brings the car in for a little splash and dash pit stop to save some fuel for later in the running. Probably more than likely the back end of the field would bring it in, get a bit of fuel to get an advantage over the rest of the field. But at the moment, it's De Bono who still leads the way. A bit of a scare for his teammate Gerard, who now ends up at the back of the field. All of a sudden, he's now got no help at the front of the field. He's all on his lonesome against both those Carlins boys and both the Pace Syndicate boys as well, who are not too far behind them.
Catacazina's P6 at the moment, Callum Hodgkinson P9, so that gap only 3 spots at the moment. Cowan doing what he can to hang on to that Pro-Am championship. So that's another one just to keep an eye on. But De Bono, he's just stabilising this lead. They're pretty much doing identical lap times. You know, there was four thousandths that separated them the last lap. Their best lap is separated by 3,000. You know, these two are right on it. But at the moment, Knitska, he's right in behind Byrne here and looking to maybe upset the Carlin Motorsports plan of attack.
Yeah, he's trying to do his best possible job here at trying to put some pressure on all three of the podium sitters here tonight of De Bono, Gallo and Byrne, but he's not out of the hunt just yet. I mean, maybe he's hoping he can maybe cause all three of them to end up in the wall and his teammate takes the championship, but I don't think Marcus would have a bone in his body that would allow him to do that. He would want to try and race as clean as possible and want his teammate to win the championship as clean as possible if he were to do so. But what a scene it would be if Dave were to win it here tonight. Really needs the cards to fall in terms of chaos for the top two to really drop down the order, and he pretty much needs to beat them by a chunk of positions to win the title here tonight.
I don't think that would really be on the mind of Marcus here. He's had a great season where he's taken a victory. He's been on the podium multiple times. So I think that P3 position, that's a podium. That's another chat to us where he can spruik his team. That's the focus tonight. Get onto that podium and have some fun. He's in the tow here. Looks like he's just backed out of it a little bit. So whether or not he's fuel saving or just decided that he wasn't going to attack yet, it's a bit early.
Well, interestingly enough, he has just taken the fastest lap of the race off Dylan De Bono, Cowie. So if Gallo were to beat De Bono by 3 spots, it would do the job.
Oh, does seem to be effective there. I reckon Marcus could have had a run then, but he thought better of it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how this race is going to pan out, ladies and gentlemen. A bit further back in the field, we have Nathan Verney battling it out here with Tyler Sheaf just ahead of him right now. And then even further back, we have Mitch Noble attempting a pass on Kevin Wakefield down and towards turn 1. Trying to get it round the outside. That's a brilliant move by Noble. Well done, son. Set it up perfectly through turn 1. Took advantage through 2. Job's a good one. He's now up to P18. That was a fantastic little pass there on Wakefield.
Well, both Noble and Verney with the moments early on in the race, so they're on a recovery drive at the moment, but are doing well. Our 3 guys that have pitted, Gerard, Schmalenberg and Sinkovic, well, they've all been in for fast repairs. The battle here with Verney and Sheep, it's Pro-Am versus Pro-Am. Sheepy, a recently promoted Pro-Am.
He was hoping to go back down to Am. Will say he's very vocal about that as Verney gets it done down the inside.
Well, he is a former AM winner, so you win, you go up, and you got to mix it with the big boys for a couple of seasons maybe, and see how you go.
You say that. Stephen Martin was demoted back down to amateur after winning the championship the season before in supercars after about 4 races this season, so not another question for Sheafy to get a demotion.
I suppose you're right, but also, Sheafy showed some great pace last season and early on was showing good pace in this car. He's just had a few moments that have caught him out, and I suppose it is what happens, but we'll see where he ends up for the next season. Also one of our regular runners of the Shadow Round. I forgot that it was a triple header this week. I was thinking I'm going to get a couple of weeks off.
No, we got triple header action.
We've got nothing, no time off now.
We get a week, Cowie, and it's in 3 weeks' time. So, it's not long between drinks for us two. We will consistently be here on Wednesday nights as Alan Dawson looking good at the moment. So is Hodgkinson in behind. He's currently in a good position for his championship run. Sheafy's just started to pull away from Verney now, as De Bono has brought it into the pits and Gallo has taken the lead of this race. So De Bono, the first one to jump early here, Cowie. Oh, is this maybe a strategy masterclass, or Could it be a blunder by him?
I think it's probably you're probably going to find Gallo coming in this lap because it's about now is when the pit window. It may be just that sitting in the draft has meant that Gallo and Byrne and Kanitska, those guys are able to go an extra lap longer. Could also mean that Gallo goes for tyres early and is looking for a bit of clear air. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But that window, according to Hardo, is about 25 minutes for the stint length. So I'd say by the time these guys come around, they'll be coming in the pits.
Jody Baldwin in the chat saying the GSRC are watching. Of course, Sinker made the announcement yesterday that we will be hosting a special event in between Season 3 and 4 called the Formula 3 National Championships between GSRC, their top 20 F3 drivers, and SRW's top 20 F3 drivers as well, to see who'll be crowned the ultimate champion in Australia of Formula 3. So we'll see how that's all going to play out at the end of next season. Cowie, we'll see who's going to be involved. I think we could almost say, well, you're probably going to see Gallo, Byrne, Vella, who's re-signed up for next season, De Bono, Alan Dawson, as Gallo's come in.
So that's, I'll have to see if Byrne's in as well. Kanitska, yep. So I think just breaking the air there for De Bono put him 1 lap short. But again, as we said, as far as things go, without a safety car here, these guys are going to need to stop again. And I think even a single safety car is not going to be enough. We need to find, 5 to 10 minutes. So you're going to need 2 or 3 safety cars for that to happen.
Well, De Bono is going to come down past the pit lane and he's going to gap David Gallo by around about a second out of the pit stop. So he has actually undercut Gallo just a little bit here over that pit stop period right there. We'll see if Gallo can bridge that gap a little bit, or if De Bono is now going to run away with this thing really early in this race. But we do expect another pit stop from these front drivers in this race. I think if we get 2 safety cars, Cowie, it might be enough for them to get home on fuel. But it's not looking very likely at the moment, as no one's really looking too feisty or willing to put their car on the wall for us to give us some chaos here tonight.
Well, at the moment, De Bono's found a couple of seconds on Gallo in that pit exchange there, so the undercut definitely working well for Dylan. That gets him clear of the toes, so we're seeing, the toes probably been about 1.4 seconds back here, has kept you in the hunt. The times were, pretty close to identical there for quite a few laps as he sat in behind Dylan De Bono, but that gap now 3.8, and it was 3.2 at the start of this lap. It's now 3.6, so it is fluctuating a bit, but almost 4 seconds now. De Bono the lead over Gallo after a single lap following the pit cycle.
Do we think, Cowie, we get a similar situation to last week now? De Bono pulls away, he gets into a rhythm of going super, super quick, but then gets caught out by it and ends up in the wall and then drops positions. Do we think that's a possibility at the moment?
I don't want to say it anymore because I do not want to put the mockers on Dylan at all, but that's the only way I can see it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can see. I think it's in Dylan's hands now. He's shown that he's easily got the pace. He's now broken the toe. That gap now out to 4.2. And Kanitska putting the attack on Gallo. So, he now can't just worry about the car in front. He's got to worry about a car behind him, and we know that, battles just cost you time in these cars. So, perhaps Gallo now another driver that's calling for the safety car gods to intervene.
Well, I saw a little bit of a lock-up there from Gallo, just a little tyre squeal through that downhill left-hander from him there, but Kanitska wasn't quite close enough to take any advantage over him through that corner, but gap is now down to 0.3 of a second and closing for Kanitska to get over David Gallo here.
He needs his gunner, he needs Byrne to get up here and start put some pressure on Kanitska, because he does not want to be fighting the car behind him, he wants to be fighting the car out in front.
Well, interestingly enough, Dylan De Bono had a 2-second shorter stop than what Gallo did, so that's probably a part of his plan. Build the gap up, get Gallo out of the toe, and allow yourself to pull forward ahead of David here. So this could play off for him in this race, but Gallo's going to have to get a move on if he's going to want to have to close this gap up towards De Bono at the front end of town. But whole field is now separated a little bit. You know what would fix that, Cowie? A safety car. That's what will fix this right now.
That's a great strategy play if that's what De Bono has done. If he's just short-fielded himself a couple knowing he's got his bit again, but just gone for the extra bit of track position, you know, and more importantly, breaking that toe. And we can see now, he's able to sort of stabilise times. They're only running a tenth or two apart, but, 4 seconds and these guys pushing hard. If he sees Gallo, do a 32 flat, then, he can push the next lap and do the same. If, Gallo slackens off a little bit, 32's, moment from Sheafy there, that's a tank slapper and a half, and he almost had 2 goes at trying to catch that. Is that wheel up in the air?
I think it might be, Cowie.
That doesn't look good.
That doesn't look like he's moving.
Yeah, he's not going to get out of that sand trap.
Are they going to let him tow, or are we going to get a safety car?
Oh,
it would have big implications if we got one.
He's in the sand trap there. It's, I don't know if it's far enough off the line for race control to say that one's a safe tow without the safety car on track.
I don't know. No word
Can't hear any word on the radio yet.
Thank you. Thanks, Sinker. The Australian Open Wheel Championship on the 16th of September. Thank you for giving me the official title of that one. Sheafy still hasn't towed yet, Cowie. He's still there. He's trying to move, but he can't.
He might have got close to one of those exit points that race control say, yeah, that's full. Are they going slow?
I don't know. I haven't heard the call for it just yet.
No, I haven't either.
How do you enter, Sinker? How do you enter the Australian Open Wheel Championship as we focus on this championship race here tonight? I haven't heard it be called yet, Cowie.
No.
He's still parked up.
Gallo took a cheeky half a second out of De Bono there that lap. So I don't know if Dylan slowed down a bit for that section.
Well, technically,
car in front of him, Sinkovic.
Yeah. Ironically, both Gallo and De Bono actually have the same lap time, at least to the 100th, Cowie. They both have a 132.44, but still not the fastest lap of the race. I don't know. I mean, Sheafy's still parked there. Surely they have to tell him to tow or get the safety car on track. This has been nearly 2 laps now. He's been parked on the side of the track. Like, he's still there.
Race control not... No.
Barbs is over the radio.
He might have just been given permission to tow then.
He has. He's been given permission to tow. I think that was. I think that might have been a little bit too long to make him wait. I don't know. That's hard.
He's got that car. He's got that car right next to one of the marshal gates onto the track. So maybe that's where they've thought, well, the marshals can get that car out of there, without too much trouble. There's a big runoff area. It's not in a high braking area, but it is a high load area of the car. So, little bit of a dodge there maybe for Dylan De Bono. I know Timothy Schmalenberg, he would have liked to see the safety car come out. David Gallo, another one. Rossanida, he's Callan Hodgkinson 2 spots ahead of Rossanida at the moment.
Interestingly, Cowie, Schmalenberg's actually still on the lead lap now. He's technically back on the lead lap. He hasn't been passed by De Bono. De Bono's coming up to him, so he's about to go a lap down. But he's actually still technically on the lead lap at the moment. He's just up the road from De Bono, but Gallo's not too far away either. It's very interesting to see how this is going to play out.
Still needs a safety car. Tessiorero's only 1 spot ahead of Rossanida. He needs a lot more spots than that. If we look at the other championship, Katakazinis is only 2 ahead of Hodgkinson at the moment. So Callum doing everything he can to stay in the hunt and make sure his rival does not get those all-important 5 positions that he needs to take the championship off him. So...
this is the closest battle on track right now with Dawson and Noble. I don't know. He's far down the order. I think
he was running up at about 7th or 8th at one stage.
He's had an off track back on lap 17 This might better explain why he's further down the order now. He's had 2 pit stops. It was the same spot that Sheafy went off track. That would explain exactly why Dawson is back down the order, because he's had a rotation and he's lost that front wing. So that would be the exact explanation for that one. But it's De Bono who leads at the moment by about 3.1 seconds over David Gallo in P2. Marcus Knitska in P3 at the moment. And then Daniel Byrne in P4 as we currently stand.
That is interesting. I'm seeing a bit of not caution, but
a pattern.
Reining in of Dylan's aggressiveness. I think so far. We've just the last few laps he's been giving up 3 or 4 tenths to Gallo. Still got the gap stand down to 2.5 seconds, but you know I'm thinking this is someone who's looking after his tyres, making sure that he's got enough rubber to, you know, get to the end of the race, and maybe, you know, one eye on the championship with a little over 25 minutes to go of this final round.
Well, what's interesting is I think De Bono, you mentioned he's driving a little bit smarter, just he's keeping himself in check. He hasn't even gotten past Timothy Schmalenberg yet, which we expected about 2 laps ago to lap him.
Yeah.
He's on the mend at the moment. He's trying to keep it clean, trying to think about championship right now.
Well, the thing is, you know, I mean, you don't need to be driving slow. You know, it's more about just not pushing the limits quite as much. So, you know, where you're trying to, you know, get within a couple of inches of that sausage curve that's on the inside of the apex, well, you're going to give that a foot now. You know, again, you're not looking to be quite as ultra aggressive on the accelerator exiting off these corners. Maybe just be a bit smoother with your throttle input. Again, you know, carry not necessarily a little bit less speed, but maybe just being a bit more smoother with your braking, not over stimulating the car, so you know, so the car's not diving too much, it's not pitching on you, you're driving it nice and smooth, and you know, just within your limit.
Just noticed Nick Schmalenberg going slow. I was just double checking why he was. It appears he had a bit of an off track in the background. Went for a move on Rosanita into turn 1. Oh, that was a big move. No. How was that not a safety car? How did that not end up worse than what it did? Oh my God.
Rosanita, that again, that's another that's a championship contender there. I have to keep an eye on his car to see if he didn't come out of that with too much damage. He's tumbling down the order, so I think he's coming to the pits, has he?
No, he's parked it.
Oh, he's had a moment.
He's parked it.
Oh no, and he's called for the tow, so I think this will be the safety car, but it's not what Rosanita wanted to happen, and Schmalenberg.
Well, all of a sudden, that championship now, as Sinker saying suplex, that was like an F5. He pulled it up. He really couldn't move anywhere. The front wheel was then broken. All of a sudden, that AM championship is now wide open for Timothy Schmalenberg, who's just gone past Rosanita Cowie, as Ratcliffe and Verney have now brought it into the pits. If this is going to be a safety car, this may be possibly the godsend that David Gallo needs to sit right on the back of De Bono, put the pressure on him, force him to push his car, and see if anything comes of it with 20 minutes to go, just about. Half the fields come in. Verney, Ratcliffe, Johnson, Wakefield, Schmalenberg, Gerard, Dawson are all in the pits at the moment.
And there is, the safety car has been called.
Yep.
I think we're going to have another look at that, because I'm hoping Timothy just got it wrong.
Yep, De Bono's in.
Nick just got it wrong, because I don't think, you know, we want one Schmalenberg, you know, affecting a championship for his brother.
So, interestingly enough, Cowie, I just want to point this out. De Bono, Byrne, Knitska have all come in. David Gallo has stayed out, and he had just set the fastest lap of the race the lap before. So this now has big implications on this. So if we think about this for a moment, he needed to beat De Bono by 3 spots without him having the fastest lap. He now just needs De Bono to finish. He now just needs Daniel Byrne to beat De Bono, and I believe Gallo would actually win it. What would it be? That would be 8. That would put it up to... That would put it up to 13. If De Bono were to finish third and Gallo were to keep the fastest lap, it would be a 13-point gap. Gallo would win it by 2 points.
Well, the question is again, as I said to you before, he went that extra lap, but we need close to 10 minutes to come out of this for him to be able to get home without another stop. Whereas the rest of the field behind him, they've got enough fuel.
Yeah, that is very, very true. He's going to be saving uber hard. As this was the moment with Rosanita and Schmalenberg into... It was a big Schmalen bomber move there.
I think Tim has got inside him, though.
Well, that was Nick. That was Nick that did it. It wasn't even
sorry,
Tim.
Nick, no, you're right. No, sorry, man. I think Nick's got inside him. I don't think that was... Nick gunning for Rosanita to give his brother the championship.
No. I'm not claiming that at all. I'm pointing out that that's the nickname, and they've had that big stack there. That's all. I'm not claiming that at all. No. I'm not claiming that is a deliberate move by any means by Nick. No, definitely not. I'm not claiming that. But what happens now is it means that Tim gets his lap back. Sinkovic will also get his lap back, as well as Tim Schmellenberg's just brought it into the pits. So now they're back on the lead lap by the end of this restart period. I think we're going to probably have about 15 minutes to go, possibly, Cowie, depending on how long it takes them to get their wave around done and then back to the back of the field. So could be on for young and old at the end of this one.
Yeah, well, Rosanita, he's not going to get that wave through, so he's probably going to stay a lap down. So he needs another safety car. I think Gallo may well need another safety car to get home out front as well. So I think that whole old adage of safety cars breeding safety cars is what a few drivers might be crossing their fingers and teeth and anything else they can cross to get that to happen.
Well, it's all on the line right now. As we currently stand, this is how it needs to play out for certain people to win the championship. De Bono just needs to stay where he is, and he's won it. If he drops the spot to Daniel Byrne, he then needs to try and hope that someone gets the fastest lap off David Gallo, otherwise Gallo would win the championship. For Hodgkinson to win his title, he just needs to stay where he is. He's got Katagazinos within 5 spots. He's good to go. For Schmalenberg to win his title over Rosanita, he needs to gain about 3 spots up the field to beat out Rosanita at the moment. So everything is still to play for all 3 championships. I'm not sure when we're going to go green. We're probably going to go green maybe at the end of this lap or the next one, which means we should have around about 15 to 17 minutes to go in this race, where we could see another safety car happen before that final 5 minutes, which could then also change the game up a little bit for some drivers on track.
Alright, so these guys pitted on lap 25. That's when the safety car come and go out. So Gallo's done about 7 hot laps, maybe 8 laps. Under the safety car, maybe using up 1 lap worth of fuel. So that means he's got maybe about 9, maybe 10 laps of fuel left in this car. At the moment, with, we got 14 minutes to go.
Yeah, but we've got about 18 at the moment on the clock.
About 18 minutes to go on the clock. Well, what are we doing? Minute 30s. So 18 minutes, you're looking at maybe 12 laps. So I'm thinking Gallo might be a lap or 2 short here. Unfortunately, I think he needs some carnage behind him to give him another lap or 2 behind the safety car. To get this one home.
Yeah, he needs another safety car to be able to save enough fuel.
It's going to be close. Oh, it's right on the bubble, I reckon. If he can save, well, the key will be how quickly does Bono get past him. If he lets De Bono through nice and easy and sits him behind, then that means he needs to save.
Yeah, this is going to be super, super tough for David Gallo to do this here tonight now. Barbs is over the radio. Is he calling for the safety car to come in this lap, or are we going one more, Cowie?
Safety car has pulled away from the field, so we will be going live this lap.
So control will be in David Gallo's hands. Safety car is in the pit lane. It's Gallo versus De Bono for this championship. Expect Byrne to match Gallo on the restart.
Is he hold it right to the line?
Oh,
He's going to hold this right to the line, I think. I think, well, he needs every ounce of fuel that he's got. So
he does.
The longer he can wait before he can get on the power, the better.
Exactly. De Bono's already lining up the move. He's gone. And De Bono's trying to cover Daniel Byrne right now down the straight, so they've called that absolutely spectacularly. Byrne's going to try and get this move done on De Bono if he can. De Bono covers the inside line. Byrne backs out. They've gone outside, 2 wide through 1. Keep it clean, boys. There's contact between them, and De Bono's out and in the wall.
Oh, is that another moment? Contentious when teammates are involved and it's close racing. That has put De Bono back to P14, P15 now. No sign of the safety car. And Gallo with a 2.6 second gap. Restart under review by race control.
It would have to be. It'd have to be for sure. But if I mean, De Bono doesn't look like he needs to pit. His car looks fine. But that is now giving David Gallo one hell of a lifeline at the moment. Complete controversy here in the final round. David Gallo leads this race. I'm going to give you a scenario right now, Cowie. If Gallo needs to pit for fuel, guess where he's going to end up? 12 spots down on P2. David Roberts from Pace Syndicate. All of a sudden, he has a lifeline in this championship. He has a lifeline right now. Now, that's also depending on how far De Bono can get back up the field, but that's a wild moment. That'll be reviewed for sure, seeing as it's Gallo's teammate who's involved with De Bono. It didn't look like any malice was involved, but it's questionable. For sure, it's questionable, Cowie.
Tight racing, he was trying to go around the outside. The question will be whether or not he was inside track limits. Of course, that's the first thing that race control will look at, but look, you know, we knew it was going to be close, and we saw it with Timothy and Nick early on there for the AM Championship. It's now coming to play for the Pro Championship, and De Bono coming in to use his fast repair, so there may be at least enough damage there to warrant that, and that just throws everything on its head.
Everything is now on its head from that one. Byrne is battling it out with Verney in the background. Controversy is on hand at the moment. I mean, we need to have a look at it again just to really check out what's actually occurred between them. I'll get it all set up and ready to go so we can see what's really, you know, get the meat and potatoes of this incident, because this is landscape changing for this championship. Absolute landscape changing. So Byrne's going for the move around the outside. His car 443 drive-through penalty car contact lap 22. That is for Rosanita. So we can see here, Byrne wants to move around the outside. They then had a bit of net code together as Byrne's tried to come across. We can get a bit of a better look at this just quickly. So if we go, I think, what's the better angle? Here we go. So they've come round. There's slight net code. You can see the net code. That's then what's caused De Bono to spin round. I don't know if contact happens without that net code, Cowie.
Has De Bono closed in on him there?
As well. That's another question.
Does Byrne have a right to, you know, be on the outside there? Look, yeah, I mean, there's a few questions there. Phil's saying it was a bit average. I'm not sure about that, buddy. I think they're both fighting hard. It may well be one of those situations where both the drivers with equal fault there, but I'm thoroughly glad I'm not a race controller sometimes, and tonight is one of those times I'm glad I'm not.
And we're not trying to make an RC call, of course. It's up to them. They'll have all the angles. They'll get nice and close. They'll see. They'll make a determination. As Barbers is over the radio.
No further action.
Okay. See that, and again, from our angles, that's what it looked like. They would have gone into, you know, incredible detail. I'm sure De Bono's going to put a ticket in. What's he saying?
That was about the restart.
Yep.
Turn 1 and 2 incident there. No further action. So I think It might have been the restart was no further action, so there was nothing wrong with the restart, and then that incident there that we've was just what they were on the radio about. So it has massive championship ramifications. At the moment, Gallo's got a 4.7 second lead. So if he needs to be clutching and saving fuel, he's got a nice buffer to be able to do it.
He does.
Can we go on board and see if he's actually doing that?
Yeah, we can, mate. We can indeed. Car 11, car 808, lap 27, turn 2, no further action. Again, they would have gone into massive detail, put it up close and personal. From our angles, it just looked like a racing incident. But that's what happens in racing sometimes, you know. In a blink of an eye can go away. Phil Vella saying, point system doesn't reward win at any VOS driving. Better to bank consistent finishes. And I think that's what it comes down to in a lot of racing, Cowie. Especially sim racing, is consistent finishes are the ones that really pay dividends over anything else. I think then that's,
you know, we can... I know my season probably got hurt by a couple of poor enduros, so you can have sort of those moments that will change the championship. And I think, Phil, you're right. It's not consistency, but it's knowing when to push, when you need to be up the front, when you can afford to, sit in and just bank those points. We've seen, a few times here, errors. Hang on.
Barbs is just over the radio.
61 and 664. That was Greg Johnson and Timothy Schmalenberg. No further action.
Yep. Rushworth as well saying great call by Barber on that incident. That's a tough one as well, and I'm sure it's going to have a ticket put in. I'm sure it'll be reviewed for sure. Because it's a controversial championship changing moment, of course, and they're always ones that get called out for review. So, but at the moment, the new narrative that's at play is if Gallo has enough fuel to get home. If he doesn't have enough fuel to get home and he needs to pit, all of a sudden Dave Roberts is on the bubble of this championship. It's really going to depend on how far down the order David Gallo drops when he comes out of the pits. If he drops down 12 positions, as he currently has the fastest lap, if he drops down 12 positions, Dave Roberts will win the championship. If he drops down 11, he will still win the championship, and he would win it without winning a race all season. That is the current narrative at play. Unfortunately for Dylan DeBono, I think he's too far down the order now. He can't come back from this. It's 10 minutes to go. It's unfortunate for Dylan. He had an absolutely incredible championship run, as he has just taken the fastest lap off David Gallo. So that's now out of the question for David. It needs to be 10th or better. It cannot be down in P11. So, unfortunately for Dylan, he had an incredible season. He's lost it in the final, in the 12th hour. You have to feel for him. He had an incredible season. Gallo's had an incredible season to be there all season. Same with Roberts. It's just what happens sometimes in racing. He will win a championship at some point. I have almost any guarantee. He's super, super talented, Cowie, and it's only a matter of time before Dylan DeBono is an F3 champion in SRW.
Oh, look, I agree, and he's been right at the front and been so close. But again, we've seen his aggression and fighting for that position. Maybe it might have been better to let Daniel sweep around the outside and then focus on using that toe to get the fastest lap point back again. I mean, again, there were so many permutations that we talked about of how it could play out. I don't think either of us expected, maybe two of these championships to be decided by an incident with another car.
One thing I've also noticed, Cowie, for Pro-Am field, Katagazinos is currently in a championship winning position, as Hodgkinson has now dropped down back to P14. It is now outside of that 5 position buffer that he needed.
What happened to Hodgkinson? He's lapping in the mid 130s, so he's not lapping particularly.
I think
lower than Sam. Is he just got caught in a bit of battles with other cars?
I think he got caught up in that incident with DeBono. I'm pretty sure he actually got held up in that incident with DeBono, and that's what's caused it. He's had an off-track in the background as well. Lap 28, he had an off-track, in fact. So what was this for? So that's not slow it down. Let's go full pace. So he was on the back of Tessiero. Oh, it was a big tank slapper. He was very lucky not to hit the wall. But that's a heap of positions lost. That is exactly why.
Almost Wakefield there. Contact with Wakefield was almost on the cards there, yeah. So, well, unfortunately, Callan having a moment that he wanted to avoid, but nothing else involved with that there. But oh wow, it's close.
Interestingly enough, Catacasinos just lost a position to Burn. Hodgkinson's just moved up to P12. All of a sudden, he's back in the bubble. He's now within 4 positions of Catacasinos. So they're swapping and changing all the time at the moment. Schmalenberg, importantly, is in championship winning position. He's in P10. Rostanita's all the way back in P19 and a lap down. So currently Schmalenberg is in that amateur championship winning position. Just needs to keep it clean over the next 6 minutes and he will win that AM championship, as Gallo is just trying to make it home on a one-stop here tonight, or at least build up enough gap to finish inside the top 10 to win this championship.
Yeah, look, he's got 6 minutes to go. Does he have enough fuel? He's been pushing super hard, so I don't think he's saving fuel. I think he's trying to get enough of a buffer here he can come back in.
Yep.
And not lose those 10 spots to Roberts. I mean, if we look at
10, how far back?
He's P10. He's 18 seconds back on the road.
He's brought it in.
And then
He's brought it in.
Here he comes in. So doing it early, maybe give himself a chance. If he needs to fight to get those spots back, he can. But this is now puts the championship in the hands of Roberts. Dave Roberts, well, he's another driver that hasn't lit it up this year, but he's had great consistent performances. So now Gallo on the exit, Schmalenberg in 10th. Gallo's
there's
come out
Sinkovic.
behind him.
Gallo's come out in the oh-so-important P10 position, and he's on fresh rubber and fresh fuel as well. No, Timothy is technically racing against Rosanita. Tesuero doesn't have enough points against him, so we muddled those ones up a little bit at the start of the broadcast. We do apologise. Schmalenberg is in his championship battle with Rosanita. Tesuero to win would need Schmalenberg to drop back with Rosanita at the back of the field. But Gallo, importantly, has come out P10 on the road. Phil Vella said, sad to see the season end like that. It's unfortunate, Phil. That's racing sometimes, unfortunately. It's exciting for us as commentators, Carrie, because it gives us one hell of a narrative to tell. Oh. And, for a person who may be watching as a neutral, it'd be ultra exciting if they've been following around the whole season. What it does, though, is just changes the game a little bit.
But it's not just what's happened here tonight, because we've seen it, with the weather in a couple of rounds through, a nice hat in. Then we had the corkscrew Laguna Seca play its part. So, this has been brewing. The new car, these guys still finding the edge of their grip in it. And, we've seen, moments decide the championship.
Andrew makes a good point. Will Gallo have taken tyres or just a splash fuel? So tyres take about 6 seconds. I saw the other day when Sheafy was doing some practice pit stops. So it's about 6 seconds for tyres. So he could have taken the splash of fuel and tyres. How long was he stopped? About 4 seconds. So he hasn't taken tyres. He's only taken fuel. So he's only taken fuel in this race. That's important, as Tesuero and Kanitska are still battling here inside the 10. So at the moment, if my math is correct, Gallo would win the championship, Roberts would finish P2, De Bono would be P3. If Gallo loses a position to Sinkovic, 5.8 for tyres, thanks Sheafy, appreciate it mate. For Roberts to win the championship, he needs Gallo to lose a position to Sinkovic at the moment.
I was going to say the same thing there, Phil. In this car, probably not as diabolical as the old F3, but still, as you said, it's still like a lap or two where you've got to get them up to 10, where you're a bit slower. But, and I'm pretty sure these guys would have probably taken tyres on that first stint, just to make sure that you're not driving around on 50-minute old rubber at the end. But, not quite like the old F3 days where we saw you guys driving around on the same set of tyres for 80 minutes.
I just want to do some quick maths whilst we talk about this, Cowie, because obviously Gallo's not actually winning the championship, so Roberts is 41 points off the lead of the championship, but he's only 30 points off David Gallo. So actually, David Gallo needs...
7 spots, maybe needs to get Schmalenberg here. He's a 2.5 back.
What would it be? Second would be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24.
Okay.
He needs Schmalenberg. He needs Schmalenberg. He needs Schmalenberg. He has to pass. He needs P9, or he needs the fastest lap. That's what he needs right now. Is P9. He needs to get Schmalenberg.
Well, got a 1.5 left, so he's still got a 2.5 to catch. Schmalenberg. 1.2 now, but does he know that he needs that position?
I don't know.
Schmalenberg in front of him there, though. That sight now down to within a second. He's pushing hard.
He is. It's going to be 1 lap to go when Roberts crosses the line. Roberts needs Schmalenberg to do him an absolute miracle and hold off David Gallo at the moment. Gallo cannot let Schmalenberg hold him off in this race. Importantly as well, Calvin Hodgkinson is 5 positions behind Sam Katakazinos at the moment. So that's another championship that's now going to be affected too. Man, oh man, could you ask for a better finish to the story of Season 2 of 2024? Gallo's now within half a second of Schmalenberg. It looks like it is going to happen if he can get this run. If he doesn't get P9, Roberts wins the championship. It's either P9 or he needs the fastest lap of the race. He looks to try and get this done on Schmalenberg right now as he tries to close the gap up. So we're going to sit on board here with David Gallo until he gets past Schmalenberg, if he gets past Schmalenberg, because he needs this to win the championship. Schmalenberg's already got his title in hand. He just needs to have a clean, consistent race. He would lose nothing by giving this up if he did. But Gallo needs this position. He needs it to clinch this title. If he doesn't get it, Dave Roberts, out of absolute nowhere, will win the title here tonight over David Gallo.
I know in the notes that we got from Hutto there, he did put it as an absolute left field belter, that it could happen. And, you know, again, the racing gods have decided to turn the tables on, you know, pretty much all 3 divisions here tonight. And Gallo with a big lunge here as we go down to the heavy left hand. He's going to make a dive. Is he deep enough?
He's not. He's just too far away, but he may get the run onto the main straight. Dave Roberts is going to come round the final corner. Alan Dawson's going to try his best to take this off Roberts. Roberts is going to cross the line. He's currently champion. Where is David Gallo on Schmalenberg? Round the final corner they come. It's not going to be enough. He's not going to have the run. Gallo's going to finish P10, and Roberts is going to win the championship out of absolute nowhere.
Right, so 9 positions. 4 9s are 36. How much back was he?
He was so P2 is worth 4. P3 is worth 8, P4 is worth 12, P5 is worth 16, P6 is worth 20, 7, 24, 8, 28, 9 is 32. And he was 30 points behind David Gallo. 10 is 36. He has won.
32, he said he was 30 points behind.
He's 30 points back. So Gallo needed... what did Gallo need? He needed P8. At the end of it, he needed P8. Because of the 2 points, he needed P8. Even if he had gotten Schmalenberg, he wouldn't have had it. He needed Tessier.
We're going to try and make sure these maths
we'll confirm the maths so we don't have any confusion like we did last night with John Gallen and Dylan Gray. But I believe as it stands, Dave Roberts has won the championship. Katakazinos has won the Pro-Am championship. That one is confirmed. And Schmalenberg has won the amateur championship. That is confirmed at the moment.
All right. Well, looking at the points drop, so the winner for the normal round takes 180 points. P10, which is where Gallo finished, takes 144 points. So that's 36. That's your difference.
Yep.
So as you said, he didn't just need Schmalenberg. He also
needed Tessier.
Tessier.
Yeah. It's crazy what can happen. It's crazy what can happen in the dying embers of a championship. You think you know what the narrative is at play. You think you know what's going to happen. Top 2 in the championship, drop out of contention, and Dave Roberts, Mr. Consistent all season, who took a win at Montreal. Did he take the win at Montreal?
Does that take away maybe any controversy where, you know, it was an incident between Velocity and Carlins, but the Carlins driver did not get the championship in the end?
I think the problem is, Cowie, there will be some people out there who will put an asterisk on Dave Roberts' name winning this championship because of that moment with Daniel Byrne and Dylan DeBono. They'll try and take some validity out of this. Let's not discredit how well Dave Roberts has done this season. He won at Montreal. If he hadn't have won at Montreal and Dave Gallo had won at Montreal, Dave Gallo would have only needed Schmalenberg and he would have won the title.
Yeah, well, I think both Dave and Kanitska, Sam, have had great seasons, and they've both been driving really well and, you know, showing the flag of their team, you know, week after week, and you've seen podiums and wins from both of them. David Gallo's so close to winning the championship without actually winning a race. And Dylan, well, you've got to feel for Dylan because he had that sewn up with 15 minutes to go.
He was uber consistent all season. All three of them were. All three of them were proper contenders all season. Andrew Russell was saying Stephen Bradbury moment.
I was going to say, you know, the real tragedy here tonight?
What?
You got the safety car call right.
I know. I did, didn't I?
That's the real tragedy.
Oh, I'm so sorry that I brought you such a tragedy in that one. Oh, man.
Wow, it is certainly a night for talking. I'm sure there will be chat amongst the boys following the night. I don't think there was any malice in anything anywhere there, but it definitely does create an interesting night and talk about, you know, the moment teammates are getting involved for position. Now, I think Rosanita got penalised for turning down himself, so I don't think we can put any blame on Nick there, seeing Rosanita got the penalty, but that cost him his championship. And DeBono fighting with Byrne there. That looks like that's what's cost Dylan his championship as well.
Mr. McAvoy?
Okay, gentlemen.
So
before you go... Iggy, I'll get in first before the boys come in.
No, that's all good.
Just want to give a big shout out to the RC team again for all their hard work, especially Leaky driving the safety car and only crashing it once this season and blowing it up in the pit lane once. We wouldn't be here this season without especially Leaky coming in, learning a whole new side of things. So he's going through a lot, and for him to come through and put on a great show and help us on the admin side of it is much appreciated. So thank you, Leaky, and I hope everybody reaches out to him and says, learn how to drive or something like that, because a few tips might help him. And also a big shout out again to Mr. Barbs. He's been head director of the F3s this season, and he's done a fantastic job looking after the boys, getting that paperwork sent out. And of course, to Hutto, who's looking after the F3s this season, he's been doing a fantastic job behind the scenes, getting everything up and running, all the championship points done on the night, and we wouldn't have that consistency without him. So, and of course, G-Boys in the broadcast booth calling the shots every bloody week, and I hope everybody's entertained as I am. So, a big shout out to everybody, especially the SRW boys. So, that's just from me, the race director, and peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
No worries. Can you let Daniel Byrne know that he actually doesn't get to come and have an interview because he wasn't on the overall podium?
10-4.
Thanks, mate. Oh, Barbs is in here with us now as well.
Tell Tyson to shut up, will you?
All right. All right. Well, we'll start with our class winners of the night. We'll then get our podium finishes, and then we'll get all of our champions out of the way. So we'll drag in Mr. Mitch Noble first of all, who was P1 on the road for the amateurs here tonight. After all of that, he snuck in and took out the P1 for the amateurs. Mr. Noble, we're going to have to try and get through this quick and fast because we have got so many people to talk to here tonight. But a big congratulations, mate, on your amateur victory. Out of absolutely nowhere, you started the night, spun round at, I think it's turn 4 or 5 or 6, and you come home with a class win and a top 10 finish, mate. Congratulations. What a season it's been. How are you feeling after that one?
A bit surprised. I wasn't really expecting to make a comeback like that. I thought I'd do a cheeky strategy with the safety car and not put tyres on, and it seemed to work, but with like 2 laps left it started to die off. I think I had 2% left on the front tyres.
Well, P7 tonight too, Mitch, so inside the top 10 for the pros. How was the track out there tonight? It looked like you were sliding around a little bit, and the temperature's not the best for hot lapping, but it certainly made for some exciting racing.
Yeah, no, the track was good. I enjoyed it. It was a little slippery. It was a bit hard to get the car turned in on some corners, but there was just enough grip there so you can have some good pace.
Well, mate, you had an absolutely exceptional performance out there tonight. You've really risen up the ranks this season. Hopefully this continues on forward. You've gained a bit of pace, gained a bit of racecraft, and hopefully this continues on into Season 3 next season. Congratulations on your class win here tonight. Let us know who helps get you out on track, as well as Team SRW. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well, mate? And for myself and Kerry, once again, congrats on your P1 in the amateurs tonight.
Well, obviously, I've got to thank Stephen Dean for setting this whole thing up and getting me out on track. I want to thank you two for being on commentary. You guys do a fantastic job. And I want to thank our sponsors, Warren & Brown Tools, Shannon's, Grib Industries, NeuroPower, and DSL Railway Services.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck for Season 3, and also best of luck in the F1 Shadow rounds to come over the next 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. All right, we will skip Sam for the moment since he's actually won his championship, and we'll move on to Ben Brook at the moment. Mr. Brook, P1 on the road tonight for the Pro-Ams, and an overall podium for yourself and Frog Leap Juice Racing, mate. Been a little bit of an up and down season, but you finished it in the right way. Got it on the top step for your class. Got it on the 3rd step for the overall podium, mate. Can't get much better than that. Oh, you there, Ben?
Ben might be having some mic
Might
issues.
be. We'll come back to you, Ben. We'll go to Sam first. We'll get his championship one out of the way. Actually, no, we'll do Tim. We'll get our AMs. We have got. Yeah, we'll bring in Alan. We'll bring in Alan. Mr. Dawson, we'll quickly move on to you while we wait to see if Ben actually fixes his microphone. Mate, congratulations. P2 on the road tonight. We were giving you some flowers earlier in the race, saying you've been a bit of a riser up the rankings this season, and you proved me right by getting it 2nd on the podium for Riot Sim Racing. Great way to end the season, mate. And how does that feel after having a bit of a tough start in this one, but then to push on and get it onto the podium?
Yeah, no, to be honest, after I put it in the fence, I thought it was done, but thanks for that safety car and a bit of late race pace. Don't know where I pulled that from, but here I am.
So did you take tyres there at the end, Alan? Were they all fresh rubber, or did you stay on the older rubber, and had a bit better grip as a result?
Nah, I stayed on the old rubber. The fresh tyres is what binned me the first time, so I thought, nah, not changing.
Well, I mean, how was it dealing with some of the traffic out there, mate? Obviously, there was some big moments that happened, especially off that restart, just to try and get your way through the field and stay consistent up the front. Were you feeling the pressure at all when you're up there in P2, or was it smooth sailing to the checkered flag?
Well, to be honest, I was the one on the hunt, so it wasn't really pressure from behind. I was trying to move forward and come close to catching Dave, but yeah, another lap or two. So who knows what would have happened.
Well, mate, you've had a fantastic run this season. We expect big things in seasons forward. You're looking like a guy who's going to gain some pace in this car, maybe a little bit more racecraft as well, and could be a proper challenger in seasons future. Let us know how helps get you and Riot Sim Racing out on circuit. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and Cowie, congratulations on your P2 finish here tonight.
Awesome thing, mate. Just a big shout out to the Riot boys. Sim Racing in focus, 3D print racer for your print needs from Etsy, and just a big shout out to you guys, and thanks for putting on a great event.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck in Season 3 and best of luck in the F1 Shadow rounds over the next 2 weeks as well. We look forward to seeing how you go in your next racing efforts.
Awesome, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ben looked to have joined back to the green room. We'll see if his mic is working this time. Mr. Brook, have you got a microphone? Has he got the role that allows him to talk in this room, Cowie? We'll double check that. He should do. Yeah, that should give him the right.
Are you there, Ben? I want to try and have a chat here with your P3 tonight on road, buddy, but if we can't talk to you, we're going to have to slide by because we've got some championship victors to chat to.
I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to move on. But if you can hear us, Ben, congratulations on your podium, mate. You did an epic job out there. Best of luck for next season, and best of luck in the F1 Shadow rounds as well. Just unfortunate we couldn't have a chat to you tonight, mate, but best of luck for next season. All right, Cow, we'll move on to Mr. Schmalenberg. Mr. Schmalenberg, call yourself a champion and a Pro-Am next season. Mate, what a race. Ross Anita had it in the bag, and then all of a sudden he's in the wall, a lap down, and you're in the hot seat.
Yeah, after I tried to stuff it up early on.
Well, that we thought, we were like, oh, is that it for Tim now? You know, he's a lap down. All of a sudden the safety car's out, you're back on the lead lap. All hell breaks loose, you make up a heap of spots, and you're in the hot seat, man. So you done so well tonight and this season to be consistent. You know, you got the overall podiums this season, and you back it up with the championship win. How does that feel?
Yeah, that's awesome. Knew what we had to do to win it coming into tonight. As soon as I stuffed it up on lap 2, I thought we were done. And half an hour of green running straight after, I thought I was, no chance. I was playing for a safety car.
Well,
Tim, you qualified fair chunk away up the grid, for tonight's race. So is this one you put a fair chunk of practice in on?
Yeah, well, I jumped on at 6. As soon as the server opened, I was in to get that full 2-hour practice. Paid off for quali, I suppose, but yeah. I got rear-ended on lap 1, and it damaged the car a little bit. It was more of a distraction, if anything, to spin the car there on lap 2.
I have just realised the replay that we're on at the moment, Tim, is you putting it into the wall. was not by design at all. I think though you're gonna owe your brother a cuddle and a Christmas card, mate, because not that we're claiming there was anything malice behind it, but he was the reason why Callum had damage on his car. They had to come in. They had probably one of the most spectacular crashes we've seen all season at turn 1 together, which Nick looked like he got away unscathed, but unfortunately for Callum, he had big damage. But I mean, you've had a great run so far this season, mate. You've done you've done so well. You've earned this championship at the end of the day, and we look forward to seeing how you go on Pro-Am next season.
Yeah, thanks, man. Looking forward to it.
Oh, well, mate, who gets you guys on track for JWM Sim Sport? Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and Cowie, congratulations on your amateur championship, and best of luck for next season. We look forward to it.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'd like to thank Brew Coffee, TW Engineering, Tough Customs, TCR Fabrication, and Nulon. Obviously the team, JWM, Sim Sport, Hutto for everything he does for our team and the league, and you guys in Race Control, and Nick for putting up a good fight as well.
Well, mate, it was a great season all throughout. Me and Cowie had an absolute blast calling the action. Best of luck for next season and in the F1 Shadow rounds to come over the next 2 weeks as well, mate. We look forward to seeing how you go, and yeah, I mean, what else can we say? You've done so well this season.
Thanks, mate. Look forward to next season.
No worries, mate. Hopefully we get a chance to speak to you next season again.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, let's drag in Mr. Katakazinos, who has somehow, out of, we don't want to say sheer luck, Sam, because you had a great season behind you, but from Hodgkinson getting caught up in a bit of a moment on circuit, dropped him down some spots. You kept it cool, calm, and collected, stay consistent all race as you have done all season, and you claim this Pro-Am championship, and you now move on to be a pro next season alongside your teammates in Dylan DeBono and Doug Gowans, mates. You've done an epic job this season.
Hello guys. Yes, today was topsy-turvy. I wasn't sure where I was going to be by the end of the race, and that restart didn't help when I saw puffs of smoke, and I overreacted, locked up, went sideways, almost hit the back of Dave.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
We didn't know where you were going to end up either, Sam. We saw you would build the gap on Callum, and then Callum would bridge the gap once again. So you guys were swapping and changing the gap between you, and we were following it along all race. But I mean, you've had a great season. Obviously, super consistent. You've been rising up the rankings for velocity now over the last couple of seasons, and it's finally all paid off for you in this Pro-Am Championship. You know, what are you looking forward to the most next season now as a pro? You know, maybe running around with Dylan and with Doug a little bit more up the front end of town and trying to help those guys get to their championship hopes as well.
Oh, for sure. As a team member, a lot of today and in future will be team based and having everyone try and help everyone else. Like we came into this trying to calculate what would it take for me to win the championship. It wasn't going to be easy, and what we're going to do, strats for quali, and we're doing a few practice runs in practice, and they eventuated to some pretty good pole positions and high up starting grid positions. Race start was good. I just wanted to settle in. I didn't want to fight too early. We had 1 hour race. I don't want to carry a nerfed car for an hour. And yeah, keep it cool.
What did the
Try and make
tree,
passes,
buddy?
and they were bad. And some I had to rely on passing on the straight to make positions, because once you go too wide around the curves around here, I just couldn't make the pass complete.
Well, it certainly was a great effort from you out there. Unfortunately, it's a great moment for the team, but also a sad one with what happened to Dylan.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose it is racing and these things do happen, buddy. But, you know, you must be really chuffed with your own sort of improvement and finding the pace to get yourself up in that top 5 fight, you know, amongst the pros week after week.
This season, apart from a few silly mistakes that I've done, I've generally been on the up and up in terms of trying to improve my racecraft, trying to be a little bit more consistent, less incidents, and this last race felt really, really nice. Continuously looking around to see what I can do. Today, I changed my seat mounts. I changed them from these old ones to new sturdier ones, and my seat did not budge sideways and did not budge when I braked, and I felt more in control of the car. No secondary wiggles while at the limit of adhesion, and I loved it. Looking forward to next season with the team, and yeah,
Well,
kicking
mate,
goals. I hope more and more goals.
hopefully a more stable seat mount leads to continuing on in a more stable position in the championship as you have done this season. Let us know, helps get you and Velocity Sim Labs out on track. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and Cowie, massive congratulations on your P1 in the championship for the Pro-Ams here this evening.
Thank you. Firstly, I'd like to thank the team itself, Velocity Sim Lab, Hikoki Power Tools, the Here to Race YouTube channel, the league for putting the league on, the broadcasters for talking us up and presenting a really well-run show, which is always good to see, and all the boys on the team. Don't forget to check Velocity Sim Lab out on Facebook. And like I said, on track, thanks to everyone, the admins, the race control, the broadcasts, for providing a place for us drivers to race. Very much appreciate what you guys do, the whole package. So thank you.
Very good, mate. Well, we'll let you go. Pass our commiserations on to Dylan. He had an incredible season, and unfortunately, just was a little bit unlucky in the end, mate. But you guys had a great run this season. Best of luck in Season 3 and in the F1 Shadow rounds as well. And congrats on your championship win, and best of luck as a pro next season.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. All right, Cowie, we're going to move on to our championship winner and race winner here tonight. It was, of course, Pace Syndicate's own. Out of absolute nowhere, he Bradbury'd his way into it. Dave Roberts. Wow, wow, wow. Chaos and controversy be damned. You did everything you needed to, and you came up with the chocolates, the race win, the championship win. You are the Season 2 of 2024 Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals Pro Champion. How does that sound next to your name?
Yes, man. It's an iRacing dream come true, mate, to win one of these series. I've never won a series like this, so it's big. It's a big event for me, and I'm happy to pull it off. I knew it was a mathematical chance, but
When did you actually know out there, Dave? You know, when Gallen went into the pits and you saw him come out in P10, did you think that was it?
Yeah, well, and when the two came together as well, I knew I was on for a chance as well. So, and then I think my teammate Marcus had Gallen on the radar to having to pit, so we knew he was short on fuel, so I just had to bide my time there and keep the other boys behind me, stay out of trouble. It's good.
Now, Dave, please do not take this as a negative, but neither I or Cowie picked you to win the championship tonight. But I think that's what makes this even more special, is it was out of nowhere. You kept yourself consistent all season, and you took advantage in the end. And I think it is commendable for you to have taken that fight all the way to the final round and be the kind of the lone star, the one that people forgot about. The focus was on De Bono and Gallo. They dropped out of it. You win it. I mean, it's your name that's ended up in the history books now. I think that's almost more impressive than someone who's won every single race in a season and then wins it with 2 rounds to go. Because that's... Me and Cowie love a bit of controversy and chaos, and we love it when a good narrative comes together. And there could have been no better narrative for you to win this championship than the way you did tonight. So big congratulations to you.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a thing of momentum, I suppose. I didn't start the season very strongly, and then just slowly built up and improved. I've been working on my quality big time, so that helps a lot to be in the top 5 there. Start with some clean track and some clean air and a bit of sneaky draft as well to get you out of trouble. So that's definitely helped.
So what are you now looking forward to for next season as a defending champion? We've got 2 F1 shadow rounds to come in the next 2 weeks, so it's not like you guys are going to be away from the car for too long. But are you kind of hoping now next season you can maybe get a few more wins on the board and maybe, clinch a championship with a little bit more conviction, we'll call it, maybe be one of those top 2 who are in the fight in the final round? Or, I mean, are you hoping maybe you can sneak another one in and just be known as the sneaky assassin who just, takes it out right at the right moment?
Yeah, the sneaking around and lurking around's probably gone now. But I'll just keep going through I really enjoy the process of practicing for these events a little bit, and it really shows you how much you put in.
I was going to say that, buddy, because it does look like that both you and Marcus are, sort of very similar pace, so you're sort of both feeding off each other.
Oh yeah, the team, the Pace Syndicate team, are really good at sharing knowledge and helping each other out. So that works to our advantage for sure. So for next season, I'll just keep going through the process, man. If we end up in 10th, then that's what we can do. But if it ends up in the pointy end in the top 3 regularly, then we'll have another crack at the championship.
Well, this season our little narrative was Carlins versus Velocity, and neither of them came out on top in the Pro Championship. It was Pace Syndicate who did it. It's next season. It's now going to be Velocity, Carlins, Pace Syndicate, who are going to be the focus for that championship. Obviously, Dawson's lurking about. He's looking to rise up the rankings as well. Nearly pipped you tonight. If you had a couple more laps, he might have even done it. Who knows? But you guys have done a great job to rise up the rankings and to claim the championship in the dying embers. Who helps get you, Pace Syndicate, out on track as well, mate? And for myself and Cowie, a massive, massive congratulations on winning this Pro Championship this season. It looked like it was going to be Gallows to win twice in a row. And, man, you've done an exceptional job to keep that fight going and to win this one out. And yeah, it's been great watching you progress all throughout this season, and to prove a lot of doubters wrong who maybe thought it was going to be the Byrne, De Bono, or Gallo show all over again.
Yeah, no, those lads put up some hefty competition, that's for sure. Look, just our main sponsor. You know, if you're after a quality custom livery, contact Wormpates. Kyle will hook you up. Otherwise, the SRW crew and of course you guys. Thanks so much for this season, and keep up the good broadcasts, lads. It's good fun.
Thanks, mate. I hope you appreciate some of the calls we had at the end of the race. There it was almost like we were losing our minds a little bit, but
yeah, I'll have to rewatch.
But best of luck for season 3, as well as for the F1 Shadow rounds to come in the next 2 weeks, mate. And once again, great job this season, and let's see how you go next season as a defending champion.
Yep, I'll have to bring it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate. Well, Cowie, what a season it was of ups and downs, and well, what a last half of the season. I mean,
I've seen a few seasons where the contenders sort of had a really bad second last race and it's dropped them out. I've seen, you know, where it's sort of changed on its head halfway through the season. But I mean, you know, we had Dylan locked in for this championship around 5 and 6, and then, you know, it's just completely flipped on its head. And then going into the last round, when you've got mathematical chances across the board, and really, you know, 2 out of those 3, actually all 3 were bolters, weren't they? Our 3 championship leaders going into the final round all fell by the wayside.
They did. You know, it's I don't want to say it was unexpected for Sam or for Tim to win the championship. Obviously, they were in the top 2. There was some expectation of Dave to win it. Remember, I said at the start of the broadcast, De Bono and Gallo, they were on for, you know, $1.30, $1.40. He was about $4. So if you had that punt, you've just won yourself some dosh. But I mean, what a Cinderella story it was for Dave to win that championship. Could not have asked for a better way.
Yep, and he certainly can't fly under the radar next season. He will have some sort of a target on his back.
Exactly right.
But the Pace Syndicate boys have announced their presence, and looks like they're here to stay. It's awesome. We get another team right in the middle of the hunt.
Well, we're going to get all of our podium finishes up on the grid now, so we can check out everyone who was involved here tonight, who had a part to play in how tonight's race finished out. What a season it has been. If you guys haven't already, get your sign-ups in. Sign-ups are now open to SRW members in the Discord for Season 3. You do not want to miss out on this one. If you are a part of SRW next season, remember, 16th of September, in between the seasons, the Australian Open Wheel Championship, GSRC, Gentlemen Sim Racing Club versus SRW Sim Racing World. The top 20 in both championships will battle it out in one race to rule them all, to see who has the best drivers in their league. The only thing you need to do to be a part of that race is to be a competing SRW or GSRC driver to get a chance to get in the top 20 of the championship and have a crack at that title as well. You know, it's gonna be the 40 best drivers in the country, Cowie. We're gonna get the opportunity to call the action alongside some of the GSRC crew. It's gonna be on both channels. What a massive event it's gonna be, and absolutely spectacular for everyone who's gonna be involved.
Going to be quite interesting to see how our boys scratch up against other leagues. I mean, it is exciting. We do see a lot of names, you know, that race across all these leagues. I'm sure we're familiar with some of the drivers already. But, yeah, it's going to be a great spectacle. And if it's anything like tonight, I'm sure chaos aplenty, and we won't be able to predict the outcome.
Well, let's just talk about next season very, very quickly before we call it out tonight, Cowie. We've got some returning drivers to the field. Scotty Barton, Darren Fahey, back in the F3 field for next season.
And we've got Sinker that's jumped into the room here to have a chat with us just before we sign off, buddy. Have you got any big news you want to drop before we drop the hammer on tonight's broadcast?
We did. I did drop some info earlier on, and I thought my brother's busting my chops, going, "Oh, go in there and tell him."
I just shouted it out. I gave the full spiel.
I said, I know you shouted it all out and everything like that, but there's it's just gonna be epic. This is the beginning of something really special between Gentlemen Sim Racing and SRW. I think the collaboration has already started off at a mega level, and our aim is to make the Australian Open Championship to be the pinnacle of the open wheels out there in the country. And there's nothing stopping us taking it further. We get this formula right. It's gonna start off with just next season, between the two seasons, and then if that works well, we'll do the end of the season, and then it will be 2025. We will have after every season we'll have a race, and it will be a pinnacle race at the very end of the year, which will be like a major championship again. So it's gonna be something really special. We've got the facilities now at SRW to hold a party and to do some live broadcasting from and everything like that. So watch that space. But I'm just sitting here talking to you guys. There's nothing stopping us to take this to Australasia, and invite a league from the Asian part of the world where they're really huge into the open wheelers as well. There's nothing stopping us to taking it to that level as well, and have the Australasian champions. There's just the sky's the limit. We just got to do it right and make sure it's fun, and that's the key thing. I think the communications we've had so far is just one night of chatting, but in the coming weeks everything will be finalised. Track will be finalised. All the minor details will be talked about. The rules and regulations that we're going to follow will be finalised as well. So yeah, and then we'll just hit it running and promote the pants off it. And if you want to race in it, you've got to join GSR or SRW. So that's the only way of entering it. You've got to race for either one of the two leagues, and the top 20 drivers from each league will go through, and it will be an almighty mega race day.
I reckon we need to get Phil Vella back in the SRW Championship sinker. And what a lineup that would be. De Bono, Byrne, Gallo, Vella, get Dixon back in there, Darren Fahey, get all of our best.
There's also a lot of new boys that are signing up as well that are now that it's all opened. They'll be coming across as well. But it will be one of those things where people are going to want to come here and race. If it means that at some point we'll have to modify our structure as a league to have a pro end like we do with the V8 supercars, the championship team, and the pro-ams and AMs. If we have to do that, we will do it. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking spectacular. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And watch this space. The two clubs collaborating together. I think the two of the biggest clubs in the country as far as amount of drivers that participate in events, the amount of racing we do. We're on the same page and looking forward to it.
Well, Sinker, thanks for coming to help us sell that even more than we already had. It's going to be a massive season ahead. I can't wait for it to call the action with Cowie once again. But ladies and gentlemen, this will bring an end to our broadcast here tonight for round 9 of season. What are you telling me to hang on for in the background, Sinker?
Hang on. Congratulations to all the winners. It would be a myth if I didn't congratulate all the drivers on behalf of Dean, myself, and the rest of the admin team. Congratulations to the champions for the Pro-Am and amateurs. It's been absolutely spectacular to watch it. Not race it for a change, but just watch it has been absolutely unbelievable. So congratulations to all. And you two boys have done a stellar job. Congratulations. Now I'll shut up. Catches.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Well, Cowie, it's been an epic season. We look ahead to our F1 Shadow rounds over the next 2 weeks for Red Bull Ring and Silverstone, and then we come back all once again 2 weeks later for Season 3. It's going to be absolutely massive. You guys do not want to miss it. All of our entries are now open. They're live for all of our series, including the Tuesday night Warren Brown Tools V8 Supercars series, the Wednesday night Formula 3 Nationals, the Thursday night GR86 Nationals, the Friday night Warren Brown Tools IMSA GTD series, the currently Sunday, but dates and days are going to be confirmed for it, the Sunday Legends World Challenge, the free series. You just have to be a registered driver for SRW. That is now live. The calendar's now live as well. It looks fantastic, as well as rounding out our racing week, the Sunday Warren and Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship, an open championship for supercars. is all going to be on offer next season. If you do not want to miss any of the action, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell icon so you are notified. We have 3 races to go for round number 9 of this season, including tomorrow night's GR86 Nationals, brought to you by Shannon's Insurance, the Friday night Warren Brown Tools IMSA GT D Series out at Fuji, and then Sunday night we're back at Belle Isle for the final race of the season for the Warren Brown Tools V8 Supercars Super Sunday Series, where we will crown our final ever Pro and Pro-Am champions. Cowie, my co-commentator, is in fact in challenge for that Pro-Am championship, so we'll see how Cowie does. Best of luck to you, Cowie, for that championship run. A massive thank you to all of our series sponsors, including Warren Brown Tools, Shannon's Insurance, DSL Rail Services, NeuroPower, Shunt Scenery, and Grim Industries, the home of the V8 Copy Table. You can catch it on Top Gear Australia on Prime Video. For myself, Hamish Munro, Andrew Cowan alongside me, we appreciate your time for being with us all season. We'll see you guys next week for the next F1 Shadow round out at Rebel Ring. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because I'll tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.